Hello and welcome to Sunday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I'm recording this, and I have to be honest here, in a slight state of tipsiness. I have been to a Christmas lunch today, and I want to shout out some of the people that I shared the lunch with. So, very happy Christmas to Fergie, to Will, to Shenners, to Lou, to Alex. I'm going to try and make sure I've not forgotten anybody. I don't think I've forgotten anybody, and lots of kids as well. And it was very good fun. But unfortunately, I have partaken in a modicum, a soupçon of alcohol at lunchtime, and therefore I'm hardly, I feel, in a fit state to record a video today. But I, of course, am going to continue our run, which started at the start of COVID, and I'm going to try and solve a puzzle called Renewal for you by Xendari. Now, I am assured, this is a relief, that Xendari Renewal is not the hardest puzzle I will ever have attempted on the channel. I think it's got 3 stars out of 5 for difficulty on Logic Masters Germany, an enormous approval rating as well. Basically, people who have solved this, and it's been recommended to us many times, have said that it is really, really wonderful. And I think I'm right in saying, although I may be corrected by Xendari on the assumption I can solve the puzzle, that this is a sort of second iteration of an earlier puzzle. So Xendari set a puzzle when they basically just started solving Sudoku, and then they reworked that earlier puzzle into this puzzle, which is the one we're going to try today, having sort of learnt various new tricks and tips in the meantime. So this is the final form of Xendari's Renewal puzzle. And I'll read you the rules in just a moment or two. Before we kick off, let me offer some hearty congratulations to Pete on your 2nd year anniversary with your partner Jay down there in Oz. I hope that you are able to celebrate with an enormous amount of Christmas pudding, I mean chocolate cake. David from Jennifer F. Now, David, I'm not sure what your relationship to Jennifer F is, so I better not even guess, better I? But David, I hope that you have a brilliant, I think it's birthday today or tomorrow. I'm not even sure what the day is anymore. But finally, Maylin, your daughter, Vin, got in touch with us and said that you'd appreciate a shout out. So I'm very happy to do that. And I'm delighted to hear that Vin is only 15 years old and was inspired by the video we did the other day in which we did a puzzle by Kane Puzzles, which is the real name of Can Ertuğran, who is a Turkish phenomenon. Basically came I think in the top 25 of the World Sudoku Championship at the age of 14, which is quite ludicrous. And Vin would like to set her own puzzles as well. So Vin, I hope you find the support you need either over on the Discord server, which I thoroughly recommend for those of you who want to get into setting Sudoku, or even on the channel itself. You never know what tips and tricks you might find over here. And then finally, over on Patreon, of course, we have our Cryptic Scriptures of the Secret Snake Society. I hope that we're still going to have the Fistamafel Sudoku hunt coming very soon to you. I'm on the final puzzle at the moment, and I want to congratulate the following. So, very well done to Brennan and Marcy Arsenault. And Marcy, I'm so sorry to hear about your loss. I hope you're okay. John Edwards, Cara Cunningham, Chris Theron, Bartosz Stanioff, Danielle Sim, Decam65, Louisa Kenzel, Frank Noom. Now this is going to be more of a challenge. I want to say Juha Marti Heikkinen, I hope. Danielle and Colin. Rick Harrison. Gero, Tom Walker and Jeff Lynn. All of you sent in the correct entries, and therefore you are awesome. Now, with that said and done, let me read you the rules of Renewal by Xendari. There is a very high chance, I'm realising as I read these rules, that I will not be able to solve this. That would be an absolute disaster. It's already 5:15. Anyway, let me read you these rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits on region sum lines marked in blue must have an equal sum within each 3x3 box they pass through. E.g., row 7, column 3, which is that cell, which is in box 7, is equal to the sum of row 6, column 2 and row 5, column 2. So what we're saying here is that that cell is equal to the sum of those two digits. Because as this blue line, you can see this blue line actually only visits two different 3x3 boxes. It visits this 3x3 box twice, so we add up those two cells. It visits this 3x3 box once, so we add up just this cell, and then we know that this yellow cell must equal the sum of the green cells. So that's how equal sum lines work. Now there's more rules though. Cells separated by a V must contain digits summing to 5, so those, right, very symmetrically arranged V's. Each of these V's, so if that was a 4, that would have to be a 1. If that was a 2, that would have to be a 3. Make sure your V's add to 5. Not all V's are necessarily given. What that's saying is that it's perfectly possible for those two cells to add up to V or 5. There doesn't have to be a V between two cells that add up to 5. It's just we know for sure that these 4 dominoes do sum to 5. And digits cannot repeat along the marked purple diagonals. Right, so that diagonal there needs to contain the digits 1 to 9 once each, and this diagonal here needs to contain the digits 1 to 9 once each, and that is all the rules. Do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking. I'm going to grab with both hands the low-hanging fruit here. So if we think about the digits that can go on a V domino, because the only ways of making two cells in Sudoku add up to 5 is either a 2-3 pair or a 1-4 pair, we can immediately label these 4 dominoes with 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s. Now that immediately in turn tells us something about the rest of these columns. Look, these have to be from high digits. Now I could pencil mark that. I'm sort of a bit reluctant to. Right, before I do that, and I might have to do that, I'm just noticing something else, which is that this interesting looking line in the middle catches my attention. And that's because I can say for sure those two digits are the same number, because this cell is the only instance of its region sum line in box 2, and this cell is the only instance of its region sum line in box 6. So those two digits must add up to the same as those 3 digits when summed. Now 3 different digits, if we made these 1, 2 and 3, they would add up to 6. So these cells have got to add up to at least 6. And that's very important for the following reason. He says, trying desperately to come up with a reason. Well, actually, I can say that cell's orange. I'm going to do that for nothing. And that's for a weird Sudoku reason. And it's quite outrageous, Xendari, for you to make me do Sudoku in your Sudoku puzzles. Clover made me do this yesterday. But look, these two orange squares, which are the same, where do they go in box 3? The answer is in one of those two cells. So by Sudoku, that digit must go here in box 9, because we know that this digit here is not a 1, 2, 3 or 4, so it must go there. Now let me just stare at this for a moment or two and try and work out what this means. Right, I've not got anything yet, but let me think. Right. I have got one more thing now. Let me just think if I can think about anything better than my one more thing. Oh. No. Okay, I thought I might be able to find a better thing than my one more thing. I can't. This cell. I want to talk about this cell. The central digit in the puzzle. And I want to talk about this, because this has quite an interesting property. Diagonal Sudokus are interesting creatures. Because they have lots of properties that are strange and weird and wonderful. And one thing I know about them is, let's look at these 4 corner cells here and ask whether any of these digits could repeat in the 4 corners. So can this digit, let's make it yellow, can this digit appear in any of the other 4 corners? Well, clearly not, because it can't be here by Sudoku, it can't be there by Sudoku, and it can't be there because of the diagonal. Now that logic, if you think about it, must apply absolutely in the same way to any of the four corners. So these four corners are four different digits of the Sudoku. And if they're four different digits, let's give them each a colour. They are a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple. And if they're a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple, what's the central cell of the grid? Well, it can't be 1, 2, 3 or 4 anymore. And because we're adding up to a number that's a maximum of 9, you couldn't put a 7 in here, because then these two cells would have to both be 1s. So that cell is either, I think, a 5 or a 6, which is really interesting, because now these two cells are a bit limited. Oh, this is interesting, yeah, because let's think about how big either of those digits could be. If we make this digit as small as we can with a 1, then this digit can be a maximum of 3. So this digit has to be a 1, 2 or 3. That digit has to be a 1, 2 or 3 by the same token. And now I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple on this diagonal. Oh, this is very nice indeed. Moreover, two more things I just noticed. I don't believe my brain's actually working here, but this is getting exciting. Firstly, the minimum those two cells can be is now a 1, 2 pair, which add up to 3. 3 plus 5 is 8. So these squares here can't be 6 or 7 anymore. Next, which means that cell can't be 6 or 7 anymore. But next, I was noticing the following. Where is the 4 on the negative diagonal? And the answer is I don't rightly know. It's either here or here. But whichever one of those it's in, now you can't put 4 here or here. If you did try and put 4 here, you now can't put 4 on the negative diagonal, because there's a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple that could not have a 4 in it. So that cell is not able to be 4, which means the cell beneath it is not able to be 1. That cell is not able to be 4, so the cell above it is not able to be 1. Oh, bobbins. Right, okay, that's not quite enough, is it? Okay. So, oh dear, this could be bad now. Because so far, it's all been fairly clear what's going on, and I think I'm about to hit an absolutely massive brick wall. I mean, I could start pencil marking these cells with sort of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm so reluctant to do that, though. I've realised I've got the wrong glasses on today as well, just now, but I'm not changing them. There is a lot of symmetry to this puzzle. Absent this line, and this line, it would be absolutely symmetrical around this diagonal, which suggests that we're going to have to pick the moment that we start to explore these lines to disambiguate the puzzle. I don't know if that moment's now. Is there a way? Right, I know one of these cells is a 4. That's for sure. Therefore, I know one of these cells is a 1. Is that somehow relevant? So if this was 4, 1, what would that say? That would say this is 2, 3. Okay. I'm not quite getting it. I'm sorry if you're seeing it. It would be of no surprise to me at all if you can see this really quickly. But I am failing to understand it. Bobbins. I think it's something to do with these 4 corner cells. That's what my sort of subconscious is shrieking at me. But I have to say, I have to say that I'm very far from sure I understand how I'm meant to be thinking about this. It would be massively powerful. If you knew this was 4-1 and you knew that this was 1-4, that would be massive. You get the same digits into those two squares. But I don't think that needs to be the case. Do I know something about the size of those? Oh! Ah, I know something I know. Yes, I know there's a 1 on one of those two cells. Right, that's interesting. So now you can't put 1s in the blue or the green corner, which means you can't put 4 in either of those cells. Right, is that doing something? I know that you can't put 1 here, so you can't put 4. Sorry, if you can't put 1 here, you can't put 4s in these cells. So, my brain is just, it feels like it's just shut down. It's just said, oh, I don't live here no more. Okay. Oh, I can't quite get my head around this, so I'm going to change my highlighting in an effort to resurrect my brain. Right, let's just make this green. So I don't know what domino this is, but we're going to say that's green. So that is not green. So if this was 4-1, this would be 2-3. If this was 2-3, this would be 1-4. Now, so this is, if this is 2-3, you could see that this would have to be the 4, which would be the same as this. Ah, hang on. Hang on a minute. What about if that's 2-3 then? If that's 2-3, that becomes, this becomes a 4 then. If that's 2-3, that becomes a 4. Oh yeah, okay, so it does, right, this was useful. I can't claim in my inebriated state to quite understand it, but I can now, I think, legitimately claim that there is a relationship between green and purple on the left-hand side and these digits on the right-hand side of the grid. Let's just go through this again. So if this is a 4, this is clearly it's either a 2-3 pair or it's a 4-1 in a very specific order. So let's imagine this was a 4. If this is a 4, you can see this now becomes a 2-3 pair. But this cell here is now a 2 or a 3. So that has to be a 2-3 pair as well. In other words, it has to be purple. Which means this would have to be green. It would have to be a 1-4 pair, just in the opposite order to this. Now, let's try that the other way round, and I think we're going to get the same answer. So if on the other hand we claim that this is a 2-3 pair, then this is clearly a 1-4 pair. Now, am I wrong about this? I might be. No, I don't think I am. If this is a 2-3 pair, this becomes a 4, this becomes a 1, so that cell there becomes a 2 or a 3. Which means this cell is a 2 or a 3, so it retains its character. So these are always the same type of domino. That's really interesting. So these are always the same. We don't know what the order is. This is either 4-1 or 2-3, and this is either 4-1 or 2-3, but the point is that they're always the same flavours. Which is useful. Yes, I understand, because now where does green go in row 3? It's got to go on this domino. So whatever these digits are, that digit is going to be the same as that digit, and it has to go in there by Sudoku. And that means this equal sum line sums to 5. That's so clever. That's really clever. Wow. Okay. So this is now either a green domino or a purple domino. We know it's 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s in there. Oh, no, it's much easier than that. Look, there's a 5 looking at a 6 in the middle. That's massive, because now these two squares have to be 9, because the minimum I can make those two squares is a 1-2 pair. And if these are a 1-2 pair, that's not a 2, that's not a 2, so this is not a 3, that's not a 3. Wow. That's a 9 now by orangification. 9 is in one of those two cells. No, oh, no, not quite. 9 in the middle box is quite restricted. 9... Oh, no. 9 on this diagonal is quite restricted. Where does it go? It can't go there. Or it can't go there or there because of that 9. So it's got to be in one of those two squares. So that one's ruled out by Sudoku. So 9 goes here. So 9 goes here. So 9 is no longer here. Let's do some colouring in. Now, can we go further with our 9s? We can... Well, nearly. 9 is in one of two positions in box 7, and 9's in one of two positions in box 4. So the only place we're not sure about our 9's is this box down here, where I think 9's got one of 4 places to live. I know that 2 of these 3 cells are purple. I'm certainly going to record that. Can I resolve that somehow? And the answer is... I don't know. Oh, hang on. I tell you what I haven't thought about. Oh, and I should have thought about, because it's simple. Where does 9 go on the other diagonal? It can't go here and can't go here. So the only place 9 can go on the other diagonal is there, which means this is a 9. Aha. Aha. So 9s. Now I've got more 9s. These aren't 9s. Oh, bother and bobbins. I get left with an X-wing of 9s in boxes 7 and 8. But... yeah, but surely now this diagonal is really restricted. I've got 1, 2, 3 and 4 on it. I've got 6 and 8, so I need 5. Oh, this 5 is beautiful. Look at this 5 and ask where 5 goes on this diagonal. Sees that cell, sees that cell. This is very cute. So these two squares have to be 7 and 8, which means that square is not 7 or 8 or 9. So just to make sure everyone understands that, obviously whatever this digit is, imagine this was 7, this will be 8. If this is 8, this will be 7. So these two digits between the pair of them are a 7-8 pair. So you could not put 7 or 8 in this cell, because it would rule 7 out of both of those cells. The same is true of 8. Now it also can't be 9. So it is at least 3. 3, 4, 5, 6. Can't be oh no, it can't be 5 or 6 by the diagonal. This is down to 3 or 4, which means it has a 1 on it. Good grief. Right, so this is either a 1-2 pair or a 1-3 pair. Now, do I know then whether it's green or purple? I don't think I do. Oh, can I use this 3-4 here? Yes, I suppose I do know something about this cell. This very particularly cannot be purple, so that must be a green digit. Right, okay, so this digit now, this is clearly on the high side of a green. If you imagine that, look at this pair of cells here. This cell and this cell are actually the same digit, aren't they? Oh, so that goes there. Yeah, so let's continue with this idea. Whatever this digit is, it's the higher of the pair of digits that would add up to 5 on a green domino, because it's not 1 or 2. So it's 3 or 4, and it would pair off with the low green digit, which is this one, and actually it's going to turn out to be that one as well, because if this is the high one, that's the high one as well by Sudoku. So that's got to be the low one. 3, these two digits are the same green digit. You can't put a high green digit on its own region sum line, because if this cell was here, for example, let's say this was a 4 and we put it there, that would imply this was a 0 to make this mathematically equivalent. So it must go there by the power of greenliness, which is very nearly interesting. I mean, I now know that there is a green digit on here as well, because how could there not be? if these were both purple, both of the purple digits add up to 5, and that would suggest this was a 5. So there is a green digit on here, so this digit is in one of those two cells, which is, so this is sort of a green-purple pair, and there must be a green 1 or 2 in one of those cells as well. So these are from 1, 2 and 9. Which I'm sure matters for some reason. I just don't know that reason yet. But I do think we're making slow but steady progress here. Do I now know what colour these are? That would be a good thing to know. Well, if they were green, these two cells would be green. If they were purple, these two cells would be purple. Either of these things would be magnificent. And unfortunately, I think either of them is possible. Oh dear. Oh no! I'm going to get stuck, aren't I? Oh, you rotten thing. Don't let me get stuck. That would be so annoying. How do we get ourselves unstuck? Well, I can do something, I think. One of these is purple. Okay, yeah, let's do this. Where are the two purple digits in row 3? Now I can see that can't be purple, and I can see that can't be purple. So those two cells are definitely purple. But is that actually useful? I want to know what these are. I think this is the critical thing. So now these digits are from 6, 7 and 8 by Sudoku, which means there's definitely a 6 in one of these two cells. Oh no! Come on! You're kidding. So I still don't think. So this digit, whatever it is, appears in one of those cells. But unfortunately, that doesn't tell us the nature of the world. This. Oh no, it does. Oh, it's beautiful. It's simple and beautiful. And I forgive Xendari for all the travails that they've put me through. Because look, this digit, whatever it is, whatever side of purple it is, it goes in one of those two cells. But these two cells add up to 5, so they must be purple. Now if they're purple, by Sudoku, this cell's purple. And therefore, I've now got a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple on this diagonal. So these two squares have got to be 7 and 8 by Sudoku. And surely, said I, surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind and nothing more. Double green have to be in these two cells, which is potentially interesting. So greens are 1s, 2s, 3s and 4s. That's because I hadn't put a green in this column yet. So these squares have got to be 6s, 7s and 8s. We might check this line in a moment. Let's... Ooh, actually, yes, I am going to check this line. Because if we look at this column, we've used the 1, 2, 3 and 4 in it. So the minimum those two cells could be is a 5, 6 pair. And 5 plus 6 add up to 11. Which means I can do some eliminating here. This can't be 6 because that can't be high enough. If this needs to add up to at least 11, this can't be 1 or 2. Right. So this is 3, 4, and is the high green digit. So it's the same as this one. So this is the low green digit, which is 1 or 2, which means that this is good. So we now know, because we know there's a low green in one of these two cells, it must be in the top one. So that top one now cannot be 9 anymore, which means that must be 9 and loses its greenification. which means this is 9, and suddenly we've got another couple of digits in the grid. Now, can we use this fact to our advantage is the question. And the answer is, I have no idea. Right, hang on. There is a low green in one of these two cells and a purple, but we don't know whether it's the low purple or the high purple. So how do we get a handle on that? I have no clue. Right, okay, but if that's the low purple, then that's the low purple in the corner. So this is the high purple, which means that this cell sees that cell, so that's got to be the high purple. This is the low purple, so this is the high purple. So this is... So that's it. We've done it. Right? By hook or by crook, we've done it. Because this domino now, because this is high purple, this domino contains low purple. But we also know it contains low green. So this is a 1-2 pair. And if it's a 1-2 pair, it adds up to 3. Right, so green is 3, and we know that the two green digits together add up to 5. So we can do some 2s and 3s in the nature of greens. And hopefully that will help us. The high green is therefore 3. So we have 1s and 4s in purple. Let's do all of those as well. And let's hope that this does something that allows us to make proper progress. This is now a 3, obviously. And there must be a 2 in one of these cells. Oh, come on. Please. This is a 3. Does that matter? Yeah, it does. Because this domino has to add up to at least 11. So that's an 8. Right, so that's an 8. That's a 7. This is a 5-6 pair. That's a 7 by Sudoku. So this is a 6-8 pair. Ah, that's an 8. That's a 6. Is that doing some magic for us? Come on, do some magic. What's that digit? That's an 8 by magic. Okay, that's a 6 by magic. So these squares are 2, 3, and 7. Which I think is probably resolved somehow, but you'll forgive me in my slightly decimated state if I can't immediately write that in. Right, where does 8 go in this box? It seems to only have one position it can go into. So this is a 5-7 pair. 7 in this column has to go there. So that's got to be 5. These squares are now a 4, 5, 6 triple of all things. With that not allowed to be 6. Oh, this 6 is doing some work over here. 6 and 5. 4 goes into the grid. That 4 has given me some things. 4 and 1. 1 and 2. Now 1 is a purple digit. And that one therefore must be a green digit. Therefore this is not a 2. Oh, it would be such a relief if I could solve this. It really would. This is going to be a 2. I need 5. Oh, where does 6 go in row 4? It can only go in one place now. 6, 5. That's got to be a 5. That's a 2. That's a 3. So that's a 2. Aha. This has got to be 6, 7, and 8. So that must be a 6. This is a 7 or an 8. Those two squares are 1 and something. 1 and 4, I think. Now, that's a blue digit, isn't it? Sorry, a green digit. Let me just make sure that's in the right colour. 1 and 4 are both purple digits, so it's fine for those to turn completely purple. And now we stare. Well, it's probably going to be that line, I'm guessing. What do we have to put into those squares? 1, 5, and 7. I can put the 5 in. So that's 5. This is a 1, 7 pair. Now, if that's a 1, these would have to add up. That's impossible. If that's a 1, Those two squares add up to 6. This would have to be a 2-4 pair, and it couldn't be, because it couldn't be another 1-5 pair. So this is 7. This is 1. This has to be 4-8 now, because it can't be 5-7 or 3-9. This is gorgeous. Right, so that's 4-8. That gets me the 6, gets me the 8, gets me the something, the 1. That gets me the 1 and the 4. 1s should all be purple. Let's purplify them. 4s should all be purple as well. Oh, so this is just a 4, which means that's a 4 and that's an 8. That's probably been available for ages, sorry. And 5, 6 and 7 into these cells, which means this is 7. Come on, come on. You know that you want to be kind to a slightly impaired Simon. That's a 3. 3 7s and 8s in the middle. Oh, please. 3 can only go there, can't it? So this is 7 or 8. And for our last trick, imagine if there's a mistake. There could be a mistake in this. It doesn't seem to want to be resolving itself. 3 and 7 there, which means that's 7, that's 8. Which means that's 8, that's 7. Which means that's 7 by Sudoku. So that should be a 6 by Sudoku. So 6, 5, 5, 8. With trepidation. Yes, I did it. That is quite extraordinary. for reasons that I hope were apparent but are quite difficult to explain. Wow, I actually did the puzzle. I really enjoyed it, actually. That's really clever. I love these V dominoes, and I like the fact that actually you could resolve what the sort of tentative order of them was. You could link them together. What I didn't like was how slow my brain was at then understanding how to sort of take that forward and propagate it. But propagated it did, so it just goes to show you it is okay to have a big Christmas lunch once a year and then record a video in which you solve a Sudoku. I apologise to those of you who've spent most of the last 37 minutes shouting at the screen. I could well understand it. But I hope that you will allow me and give me this license on these very rare occasions. Thank you very much for watching. I will be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.